Did you try the vocal rackets yesterday?
Um, I got 4 different demos that Tom just finished stringing. I haven't picked those up yet, but I did
Okay.
try 3 different ones last week when
Okay.
I saw them. So yeah, there's going to be something in there that is very playable. They got great feel. So it was pretty immediate too. I picked it up and went, oh, okay, wait a second. I think I can speak this language. So yeah,
I
I'm
can
excited.
speak this language. Well, you're a multi-language guy. Let's see the T-shirt again there, Jeffrey. Vocal. Who's on the tour that who who's in the tour
Well,
that plays for that?
Boom Boom used to, when he played, he was using vocal.
Is that where it's
He
from?
went
Is it from Germany?
Austria,
Oh,
Austria,
Austria. Okay. All
yeah,
right.
Austrian, primarily, ski company, still one of the, very top ski producers. Um,
That's true. That's true.
and so
Yeah.
they've been using these materials for a very long time. So they're, I would say primarily it's a European tennis wise, it's definitely a European brand,
Right. Right. Good.
Um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to
Our boy
swap.
Marty Hines, um,
Yeah.
the rep and K Swiss. Marty, thank
Yep.
you for your support. It's greatly appreciated. And man, the shoes I got now are spectacular. Got a nice wide,
Yeah.
got a nice wide toe box or whatever it's called, and which I need. So, all right, guys. Well, hey, good morning. Brent Abel here, WebTennis.com. Another episode of What's the Right Shot, number 428. We're doing something very different today. I don't have a video for you. I want to do a little bit deeper dive on a short video I did yesterday afternoon for the Tennis Mindset Project because I want to get Jeff's input on these 3 reasons why I think top players win so many of their close matches. Jeff's already, before we started, given me his 3 reasons why. Anywho,
And they will go unpublished.
They'll go unpublished. Yeah, pretty darn funny. So hope you guys are having a great day so far wherever you are. Man, another 90+ day forecast here in the desert.
Yeah.
Boy, I was on the grass yesterday for about an hour and 15 minutes with the Big O, and a little cloud cover with some heat and a little humidity. So
There you go. Yeah.
the joints got all lubricated and
Get
I
a
think
good
from
sweat.
got a good sweat. So it was fun. Another more of the same this morning. We got the great Kevin Kearney joining us this morning as well.
Nice.
So that'll be good. All right, where am I? Let's get rolling.
Get to it.
Tee up this thing. Yeah, here we go. So 3 reasons why top players win so many close matches. And look, I think this kind of applies to whether you're in your age group. Let's just take it by age group. Whether you're A+ in your age group or an A-, or maybe you're one of the B+ players and you're playing against a B- player. I think it's all kind of relative, but
yeah.
And I think it works this way. But Jeff, let's go into, and I'll just give you my little take on it first, and then I'm going to have you, you follow up. So one of the reasons why so many top players win a lot more of their close matches is they've actually figured out who's doing what to whom, which is much more about finding out and discovering tactically a couple of things. Number one, what is this guy like? All right, I'm not going to give it to him. If it's a close match, let's say it's a tiebreaker in the first set. You've had 12 games to find out what this guy likes. And on the other side of the coin, what he maybe doesn't like. And so to me, the top players are really much more in tune with what's going on over there on the other side of the net than being so deeply inside their own head.
Yeah.
So that's thing one. Your take on that, Mr.
Jack? I thought you were going to go through and then.
I can go through all. Yeah.
No, that's done. This is fine. This is good.
Okay.
So my take on it is that is that so many players when I start working with them, and again we're talking primarily national senior players that are trying to like some are already there and some are working toward being in the hunt for their first ball. And so many times when I start working with them, they're very quick to tell me what the other player does well. They really did this well. They really did that well. Boy, he really had a great slice approach, blah, blah, blah. And as they tell me this story, I never hear anything about what they didn't like. And so I'm in my head, I'm wondering like, so you played 2 full sets, continuing to give the guy what he really loved. Like you never quite figured out that maybe there's a different pattern that we should be attacking or something. Like what are we looking for here, right? So I think that's a blind spot for quite a few players. Is the assumption is that this player I'm playing against can do everything,
right?
And the reality is that's not true.
Yeah,
there's something. We all have our little Achilles heels, and the better players are capable of not revealing it. And so as you play those better players, you've got what are they doing to you? Well, they're not letting me hit my favorite shot. Well, how are they not doing that? Like this is where you have to have the desire and the curiosity to watch these better guys play, better women play, and wonder like, okay, so oh wow, that's really interesting. Look at her, she's just attacking that person's backhand, or wow, she's really cutting that ball low into the backhand side so that person can't hit their super topspin ball. Whatever it might be, is you've got to be searching for the thing you can pick at, and so that is like exactly what that says. Who's doing what to whom, and are you allowing it? For the duration of a whole match.
Yeah. So. No, that's right. So, all right, let's go on to number 2. Number 2 is they're content to wait for low risk ... And what that means to me, Jeff, is that when the match is close, they tend to win more points because they're content to wait in each individual point for that moment where they really have what we would define as an offensive low risk opportunity. Right. And I think the A-, the B-, the C- players in their own skill level groups are not doing that. They're looking in your terms. They're looking for the exit too early because the match is close. This might be their only chance. So they think they think that they're playing against Fed. This is my only chance.
Right.
I got to get it done right here. So there's a real mental toughness element, mental strength of being able to wait for that moment that is low risk. And a lot of times for me, it's just an approach shot opportunity. It's still a 2-shot mindset. It's never a 1-shot. This is a low risk. Okay, maybe the court's wide open. The guy fell down over on the other court because you hit a great wide ball, and yet he somehow fluffed it up to you. Yeah. All right. It's probably going to be a 1-shot if you don't gag on it.
Right. We still got to focus and bunt it into the open court. Watch
exactly.
The ball, blah, blah, blah. All the basics still got to be there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree. I think what that the next level of player does a little better is they become less consumed with trying to win the point and more consumed with just inflicting pain and creating opportunity for themselves. So this is like let's say like a 3-5 to 4-0 break, right? In that scenario, I would say primarily the difference is that the 4-0 player is just a little more consistent. He may not construct the point any better than the 3-5. It's just that he can put 2, 3, 4 more balls in play longer than the 3-5 can. And so they're a little more content to not have to rush and try to win the point and look for the exit, is that they know they can outlast the guy. Maybe they pick that up early, right? And so it is one of the first things I think you learn as you're climbing the ladder of getting better, is simply, what if I just put another ball in play against this guy? And again, that's a little more, it's more viable at the 3-5 moving into the 4-0 level. Okay, they get that scenario and that strategy gets a little tougher as you move out of those up into the upper ranks, because the guy across the net has skills too, and so they can actually counter what you're doing. And so keep putting another ball in play is always important. But now, can I inflict a little pain with it? Can I inflict a little more pain with it? Right. So like you said, you're the better player is content to wait for a lower risk opportunity. And he can wait longer than you.
Yeah. So to me, that's. I mean, all this stuff's mental. It all comes back to the mental part of the game, and you either are going to figure out, number one, who's doing what to whom. You're going to be content to wait for low risk, and this next one is a big time intangible, but it's something that I think that you can train. And for me, when I went last year anyway, in 2023, from an A- to one of the top guys, there were some times when I got into matches, things weren't working great. In fact, one match, the finals in Bocage last year in April in Baton Rouge, I got hurt. I won the first set. I did something to like my IT band or something on one of my legs in the early part of the second set, and literally couldn't run. I just couldn't. I mean, I just couldn't run. And my opponent ran away with the second set. Took a little quick bathroom break. Found the great Mike Stewart, who was watching, and I said, "Michael, you got any ibuprofen over there?"
Yeah.
He said, "Yeah, here's 3 of them." I said, "Okay."
Let's
Took 3
go.
of them, and we got to 2-all in the third, and then I won the next 4 games. And a lot of that was, okay, you can call that a physical ibuprofen response. However, when in the second set, I think maybe 5 years ago, I might have walked up the net and just shook hands.
Called
Said,
it good, yeah.
I just don't think I'm going to find a way here. And I just remember that day. I remember another match, the semis, the clay courts later in the year, where the guy, I've told this story, the guy had 2 set points. He was serving. I just kept telling myself, you're going to find a way. No worries. You're going to find a way. And to me, that's a better way of thinking about those situations as opposed to the other one, which is, woe is me.
Yeah, don't miss. There's a great, right?
I'm not having a great day. This sucks. So it's just not going to work out. It's just he's having a day. Well, okay, he's having a day, and the guy in the semis, the clay, was having a day that first set.
Yeah.
But I just said a couple of things. I'm going to find a way. Number one, that way might be he stops having a day here in the next 5 to 10 minutes. He might win the first set. Okay, we're going 3 today.
Yeah. Can I push off the end of the match? Can I put that farther out in the future? Right. And can I just hang here and do, like you said, does his hour and 15 minutes of fame wear out?
Yeah. And let me just add one more quick thing here about this number 3, belief they'll eventually find a way. I think this has to be, at least for me, is I train this off the court with kind of a daily affirmation that I would read. And that part of it was this situation right here, which was, from time to time, I'm going to find myself in a really close match, but that's not a problem. I'm eventually going to find a way. I just kept hammering that into my brain a couple times a day.
Right. Yeah.
And once I got in the match with that situation, it was going, oh yeah, I'm just going to find a way.
Yeah. Find a way. Yeah. And then you got to realize too, in those moments too, what's the other guy? What's he got going on between his ears? Is he looking at it going, oh my God, I'm up a set and a break against the great Brent Abel, who's just won. He won. Well, it's possible because it's there because, Brent's won the first.
I'm not laughing like no one would ever do it. I'm laughing like the adjective of great.
But they're realizing that, okay, listen, this guy's already won the first 3 majors of the year. You know what I mean? So it's not going to be a mystery to who you're playing. They're going to know who you are because you've established some wins this year, tournament wins, the gold ball, blah blah blah. and now all of a sudden they're in this moment, and can they handle it? Can they stay with it? Do they have the mental capacity to believe that they can get it over the finish line? And so there's always that factor. And if you just can't project that this player across the net is infallible, that they're not going to have or feel pressure at any given moment either. So if you can keep your head cool and kind of go, you know what, let's make the return, let's make some first serves, whatever it might be, and whatever your training is, right? The way, like this year, Brent, you put a whole bunch of time into the mental side of it, and really getting your affirmations and your between points routine, and really being methodical about not allowing the match and other circumstances to be part of the equation. Like, no, here we are, we're doing this. Okay, I can't really run now, and the guy runs over the second set. Okay, take a few ibuprofen and blah blah blah. And okay, let's just keep trying to work this out. And does this guy finally, have a moment of reality, and all of a sudden he's no longer, playing out of his mind. He's just playing well. And okay, well, playing well isn't going to be enough to get over the hump today against Brent Abel, right? In that situation. So it's like, okay, here we go. You hung in there long enough to have the moment to put enough pressure on the guy where his wheels finally fell off that day.
Yeah. And look, none of this stuff's a guarantee. None of it's 100% guarantee. I mean, you're going to, no matter if you nail 1, 2, and 3, there's a chance that you're going to lose the match. I'm just saying that, and I've qualified it above with the title of why top players win so many. I'm not saying all of them, but it's just, they just, and look, the difference between an A+ and an A- guy, not that much.
Not that
I
much.
mean, you take it as deep as the Pro Tour. We know that one year where Novak recently, you know where I'm going with this, Jeff. I mean, recently he won everything. And he was so clearly the number one guy in the world, and yet he was winning like 52.3% of the points he played throughout the year.
Right.
Okay. So the other guys are knocking on the door all the time.
Yeah.
And yet I think he's nailed 1, 2, and 3. Novak.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I think that you get comfortable. You don't get unsettled just because a match is close. That's again, in that realm of players, as you're playing the top guys, is there's no panic. It's like, okay, the guy's playing well, let's just keep at it. And you just, you know what I mean? They're not worrying that, oh, this match is going south. No, we're neck and neck. It's a dogfight right now. I got to stay in the fight. And you trust, what you're capable of doing, but there's no the panic button isn't hit just because the match is close, and that's the other thing, right? You find a solution on any given day with your skill set matched against your opponent's skill set, and because of the way your skill sets match up, your solution, or the only solution, might mean that you win 7-6, 5-7, 7-6. But it was the solution, and you got it over the hump. I mean, so you can't. It's not when you find a solution, it doesn't mean I get to win 6-1, 6-1.
That's right.
That's right. It means this is going to be a dogfight to the end. And if I keep doing this, does it finally come to fruition when we're 4-all in the breaker in the third, and I hit that cut approach down the line again, and he tries to squeeze it a little bit too much that time, and he hangs it out wide by an inch, literally. Like, there it is. There's the moment. And now I'm serving for it at 6-5, say, or something like that. And you know what I mean? So these things come down to very small increments sometimes. And are you willing to stay calm in the moment,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you stay calm and you keep the stress levels down as low as possible, it gives you clarity. And if you don't have clarity, number one's not going to work. And if number one's not working for you, if you haven't figured out that 2 or 3, I don't think will make much of a difference. So Susanna's got a great question here. You know, what is your process for understanding who's doing what to whom? Give an example of how you were thinking about this while you were playing. I can see obvious things, but not always obvious. I mean, I'm thinking of just right off the bat when I read that, Jeff. There's a few guys in my age group, I know is yours as well, who are, called big hitters, and when they're on for that day, they can go right through you. I mean, it's you warm up for 5 minutes, and the match doesn't take much longer than that, right? So, but my instincts used to be with a big hitter who was on was, well, I got to hit. I can't let the guy touch the ball. I got to go for something that's above my pay grade, and above my pay grade was typically to go to one of the two corners pretty big, try to at least get the guy stretched out.
Right.
And so, but eventually I came to realize that, wait a minute, I can't do that consistently, but I'm still trying to get the ball out there to the corners. Well, this guy loves to look at the court geometrically from a corner.
Right.
And so I said, well, let me just go, okay, he's going to hit a big ball no matter what I do anyway. What would happen if I just played some balls deep right up the middle, and at worst case cut down the angles?
Right.
And so for me, what I found with these guys is they hit a lot fewer outright dinger winners, and they hit a lot more outright dinger unforced errors.
Unforced errors, right?
Yeah,
exactly. Because there's no, from the middle of the court, you literally have to hit the ball through the baseline to hit a winner. The angles don't exist, right? So that's so you're always probing. You got to figure out what the process for understanding who's doing what to whom is do I find myself, as you just described, the guy's out in the wings, and he seems to really love to be out in the wings. Okay, let's not let him do that. Let's bring him into the center of the court, as you just said, and let's see if I can I'm going to have to be fit to do it. Can I hustle and cover the court and keep sending a ball back up the middle of the court, of the court?
And like we looked at, what was it? Was it yesterday with that looper forehand?
Yeah.
So why not just loop that sucker all day long, right up the middle?
Right.
And make them work from there. I think the other thing, and I'll let you jump in here, Jeff. I think the other thing to think about is, where does the guy really not want to be on the court? Like a lot of baseliners just absolutely love, like I just described, hitting big shots from the baseline. Are they okay if they give you the opportunity where you can disguise a drop shot and bring them up, and let's see how they are up there? Obviously, they've lost their ability to thunder ground strokes from in there. So can you make them run? Can you make them get out of their hitting rhythm? I mean, one of the things you don't want to do with someone who's just can't seem to miss is just kind of speed up play.
Yeah.
Not only during the point,
sit there and trade shots with them.
And between points, take as much time as legally as you can. Take the full 25 seconds on the side changes. Take the full 90 seconds. I remember once watching, where was this tournament? I was watching a tournament Mai was in, and Erica, one of your top students, and Mary Daly, they were playing the final somewhere against these girls, and these other girls were having a day. And it got down to the third set, and they just broke either Erica or Mary to go up 5-4 serving for the match, 5-4 in the third set. And Erica and Mary went over and sat down. These other girls sat down for 5 seconds and just jumped off the chair and just ran over there and got all set to go. They're jumping around like, yeah. And Erica and Mary just sitting there, just kind of slumped back a little bit, going ho hum, ho hum.
Right.
Who knows? Maybe they took 2 minutes. I don't know. But whatever it was, the girls got broken in love. I don't think, Erica and Mary won, the next 3 games. Anyway, so that's one thing, is just stretch it out as long as you can.
Stretch it out. Yeah. And so this is like, to Susanna's question is like, this is where, practice sets and that paying attention to, like, I mean, because these are higher level skills, because you have to have awareness that something's going on here that I'm not getting, right?
Yeah.
That somehow I keep finding myself in this same pattern, and the pattern isn't good for me. Okay, so you got to identify, because the pattern isn't a one-shot pattern; it's a 2 to 3 ball pattern that puts you in where the situation you don't want to be in. So that's part of this, is learning to recognize what's going on. Am I constantly being shoved back into this corner that I don't want to be in? Okay, so how do I not do that? What do I have to do to change the dynamic of the way the patterns are being played, right? So part of that is like what you just said, Brent. You're like, okay, let's just try going up the middle on it. The other part of that too, when you're hitting a big player, is a lot of times, even though players might hit big, many don't generate their own pace well, and when they have to, they can overhit quite easily. So you might go ahead and hit one ball heavy, good linear ball. The next one you might roll. The next one might be a full court up the center chip. It's got some shape on it. That ball hits, it bites the court, and it kind of sits up, but it doesn't move through the strike zone. So a lot of times on that particular ball, you can get a guy to or a gal to over crank, and all of a sudden they see the ball as this juicy T-bone steak, and they overcrank it. They crank it long. They think, oh, maybe I can hook a little angle from this place right here, and they hook it wide, right, or whatever it might be. So it is a constant probing of what patterns are working today. What are they trying to do to me? Oh, I can see that. Blah blah blah. Whatever it might be. And so there's no simple answer to that. But you have to you have to be able to pay attention. And at the end of again, Susanna, like at the end of 5 games, can you tell me or Brent what they don't like? Because that, like, you've got to be able to have some of that information, right? And especially in 5 games in, you should be able to tell somebody, they don't like this, they seem to not like that, or they seem to have a little trouble with this, or when I hit this certain ball, I don't get the big powerhouse ball back. I get something I can handle. I get something to look at. Okay, well, we need to do more of that. Finding the sweet spot doesn't mean that they're missing. It just means maybe you're getting a better chance to look at a better ball. Again, so all these things are very layered.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
yeah. Yeah, we got to wrap up. I got to get out. I got to get ready. Got a little practice session, as I mentioned earlier, coming up. Guys, I really want you to practice number one. And Jeff just said it right there. Get out there, play a lot of practice matches, sets, points, whatever it is. But start being aware of what's going on the other side of the net. And here's the thing that I see too often is that guys go in the ball machine, or guys are doing these drills where it's all about, can I get better at this forehand, as if that's going to be the solution for number one.
Right.
And it's just, I mean, look, I think, I'm always kind of tinkering with technique a little bit, but my form of tinkering is, what can I take away? What can I pare away from the technique I've got, so I can make it so dead simple that even on those days when I've got a guy who's whatever, I'm still going to be consistent, right? It's so,
yeah.
So what I would tell you is just work like a dog for a while. Just take the next month and just figure out, number one, who's doing what to whom. And it's basically, Jeff just said it, probe. Let's see what's going on over there. Find out what they like. Don't give it to them.
Right.
And then start to look for what they don't like. Did I just say what they don't like and don't give it to them? Anyway, find out what they do like and don't give it to them. And then the second part is find out. And look, it might be a stroke, or it might be movement. It might be, it might be that you're taking a lot of time. They don't like that. All right. Give them that.
Right.
Who knows what it is, but you got to start really getting good at number one. And once you do that, then I think you're going to start to win a lot more of your close matches.
I mean, in my last thought would be this too: watch other matches in your age group, watch what the players that are winning, watch what they do. And there's always the complaint, oh, they just push, she just pushes, he's a pusher. Oh, they stand 3 feet inside the baseline and they lob really well and blah blah blah. Well, it's like I hear that and I go, okay, so you're telling me this player is a pusher, they stand 3 feet inside the baseline and they just lob and they do this, and my thought is, so that's not their fault. That's your fault for letting them stand there.
That's right.
For 2 sets.
Right.
And then you get annoyed. And so, like, well, who's that on? That's not on them. They figured out a way in that level of play, whatever that is.
Yep.
So watch matches, and here's another part of this. This is like huge. When you watch matches too, don't watch with other players. Find a moment where you can watch by yourself, because this is what you don't want. You don't want someone sitting next to you who's chattering and chattering theory tennis to you in your ear about what you think you're seeing. You need to go look at this and kind of get your cup of coffee or whatever it is, and go sit off to the side, kind of hide a little bit and watch a match, watch half a match, watch half a set, and just really look at it and put all theory tennis out of your mind. And what is actually going on here? Who's doing what to whom? And you got to watch matches to do it. You got to see it, So anyway, there's your closing comment there from me.
Love it. Love it. All right, guys. Hope this has been helpful today. As always, any comments, any questions down below in the comment section, let me know. Love to read those and respond. And if you want to keep them private, you can shoot us an email. Either individually or, a group email, Brent at WebTennis.com, Jeff at Jacklets365.com. We'll keep the conversation private. So if you really want to, get the stuff out there and really become vulnerable.
Yeah.
That's how to do it.
Conversation might get rough.
It could get a little scratchy. All right, guys, it's time. We got to get out there. Got to help someone else have a spectacular day. Guys, see you again next time.